International breaks and tournaments have long been a bugbear for managers at the top level of the club game, and the Africa Cup of Nations, which has classically been run mid-season, is perhaps the most noteworthy for this reason. Founded in 1957, a year before the European Championships, the AFCON is one of the most prestigious and passionately supported competitions in the international football calendar, but has come under increasing scrutiny over the last 30 years, with more and more of the continent's top professionals playing in Europe, and with club competitions like the Premier League and Champions League becoming ever more lucrative and powerful. And following a move to a summer competition in 2019, the CAF's decision to move the latest event to January 2022 will of course bring disruption to a number of top clubs. Meanwhile, the global pandemic and emergence of the Omicron variant, which was first reported in South Africa, has also led the European Club Association to seek urgent talks with FIFA over player welfare at the tournament, with the organisation reportedly keen to avoid the problems faced during the September international break, when Premier League clubs refused to release players travelling to countries on the UK's red list, and a World Cup qualifier between Brazil and Argentina had to be abandoned. But which clubs will be most affected by the tournament in Cameroon? And is the scrutiny that the AFCON receives fair? Let's find out. So why is the Africa Cup of Nations not taking place in the summer? Initially scheduled to be played in June and July 2021, the Cameroon tournament was moved to January due to concerns over weather conditions, and then postponed until 2022, partly due to delays in qualifying incurred by the global pandemic. Summer marks the height of the rainy season in Cameroon, with the country seeing 7.7 inches of rainfall in July and 9.3 inches in August. For comparison, the UK's wettest month, October, generally sees around 3.6 inches of rainfall. So it makes sense as to why they didn't want to risk playing such a big tournament in such conditions, despite the push in recent years for the AFCON to avoid clashing with the European club season. This pressure led to the last tournament, held in Egypt, being put on in the summer of 2019. Temperatures can reach over 40 degrees Celsius in the North African nation during this time, and within the first 10 days of the competition starting, one player had collapsed in training from dehydration, while Uganda captain Dennis Onyango had to be stretchered off during a match for similar reasons. Concerns over the heat may well have played a part in the decision to make AFCON a winter tournament again this time round, although it isn't quite as simple as that. After all, South Africa, where January is the height of summer, have been hosts in the past, with games almost exclusively kicking off in the evenings to avoid the hottest hours of the day. And this was a major criticism of the tournament in Egypt, where a number of group games kicked off in the afternoon, exposing players to scorching heat, largely due to fixture congestion caused by expanding the tournament from 16 to 24 teams. It also affected the quality of entertainment, with players having to conserve energy in the heat. Games that kicked off at 4:30 PM featured just 1.1 goals on average, whereas evening games after 9 PM averaged 2.5 goals. With the tournament currently set to be held in the summer again in 2023, coaches and players will no doubt hope this problem is addressed. What's more, the tournament in Egypt was the first ever Africa Cup of Nations to take place in the months of June and July, and so there will always be at least some opposition to it being hosted in the European close season on the basis of tradition alone. And weather isn't the only issue in terms of player welfare. A summer competition comes after many participants have ended long seasons with their clubs. And as we've seen with the Euros and World Cups over the years, this can affect their performances for their country, as well as their re-entry into club football the following season, with players like Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw and Leonardo Bonucci all suffering prolonged dips in form following their activities in the summer, while Pedri, who played 61 games for club and country last term, has subsequently missed 16 games of the current campaign through injury, and isn't due back until the new year. In theory, mid-season tournaments shouldn't have the same effect, with top players often hitting their stride during the first 3 months of the campaign. And provided they haven't played competitive football the previous summer, they should arrive in better physical condition than they would at the end of a campaign. But which clubs will be most affected by the Cameroon AFCON? In the Premier League, only Tottenham, Norwich, Leeds and Newcastle have 0 players representing national sides to have qualified, while Watford have the most with 5, with Senegal forward Ismaila Sarr and Nigeria attacker Emmanuel Dennis, whose 11 combined goals account for over half of the side's total output, both set to fly to Cameroon. According to FIFA regulations, Premier League players should leave for the tournament following the Boxing Day round of fixtures to join up with their national squads, while the tournament doesn't finish until the 6th of February, meaning Sarr and Dennis could miss up to 6 games, including meetings with fellow relegation battlers Newcastle and Norwich. The next most badly affected club are Liverpool, with Egypt captain Mo Salah hitting the form of his life this season, and Senegalese maestro Sadio Mane also back to his electric best. Salah's 13 goals and 9 assists make up 50% of the Reds' total league output alone, while Diogo Jota is the only other squad member aside from the pair to average over 3 shots per 90. With the Premier League title race on a knife edge, the fact they could miss a crucial trip to Chelsea on the 2nd of January has clearly irked manager Jurgen Klopp, while trips to Leicester and Crystal Palace and the visit of Brentford, who held them earlier in the season, are far from easy games. A front three of Jota, Firmino and Harvey Elliott is far from a disaster, but going without 2 of the world's most potent attackers at a crucial stage of the campaign is not ideal. The last time Mane left the side for the AFCON back in 2017, they won just 1 of 7 games and were knocked out of the EFL Cup and FA Cup. Other English clubs significantly affected include Brighton, who will be without midfield orchestrator Yves Bissouma, Leicester, who will see Nigerian pair Wilfred Ndidi and Kelechi Iheanacho leave for the tournament, Chelsea, who will have to field Kepa in place of Edouard Mendy, Arsenal, who will be without the increasingly important Thomas Partey as well as Aubameyang and Pepe, and Southampton, who, having sold Yannick Vestergaard in the summer, will be left with minimal cover in defence when the excellent Mohamed Salisu joins the Ghana camp. With Ralph Hasenhüttl's side just 6 points clear of relegation at the time of recording, a poor run following Christmas could have a bearing on their Premier League status. Over the border in Scotland, Rangers will be without the influential Joe Aribo, while there will be a number of key players missing across the continent. In Italy, Napoli will have to bid farewell to Senegal captain Kalidou Koulibaly, and would also have missed Victor Osimhen had a cheekbone fracture not denied him a place in the Nigeria squad, while fellow title challengers Milan will be without midfield pair Ismael Benacer and Franck Kessié. Over in Spain, Sevilla are the only top club seriously affected, with goalkeeper Bono reporting for Morocco along with Munir, while injury to Youssef En-Nesyri, currently projected to keep him out until February, has reportedly sparked tension between the club and the Moroccan Football Federation. Atlas Lions teammate Achraf Hakimi will be a big loss for PSG as they prepare for the Champions League knockouts, while Nice are arguably the biggest losers in France, missing Youssef Attal, Mario Lemina and potentially Andy Delort. However, clubs in France, Italy and Germany won't be as badly affected due to the timing of their winter breaks, although they would still suffer the same as English sides should players have to quarantine on return. It's already clear that some clubs are keen to find ways of keeping hold of personnel for longer. Liverpool and Chelsea, for example, are trying to find agreements with various football federations so they can release key players after their game on the 2nd of January rather than the 27th of December. Meanwhile, Egyptian giants and CAF Champions League winners Al Ahly are set to contact FIFA to review the dates of this season's Club World Cup, with their second round tie with Mexican outfit Monterrey currently due to take place in Abu Dhabi on the 5th of February, a day before the AFCON final, with around 7 first-team players set to be part of the Egypt squad and another 3 turning out for other nations in Cameroon. But is the AFCON really more disruptive than other international tournaments? Considering the level of scrutiny the latest edition has come under, it's certainly arguable that it has received unnecessary flack when compared with the World Cup and Euros. With the vast majority of Africa's top professionals playing in Europe, a winter tournament will always have a disruptive effect on the season, while the possibility of sustaining injuries on international duty is always a worry too. But as alluded to earlier, players are less fatigued at the beginning of January than they are at the end of a club season, meaning there should be a smaller chance of them returning unfit or picking up an injury on duty. Just look at Lionel Messi's slow start to the season following the Copa America, or Harry Kane's injury problems following the 2018 World Cup, or even the huge distances players had to travel during a pandemic in the continent-wide Euro 2020, and it's clear no international tournament can guarantee player welfare. What's more, the decision to put on the AFCON in alternating years to the World Cup and Euros at the beginning of the 2010s has no doubt had a net positive effect. Players of course don't get the customary 3-week holiday like they do following a summer tournament, while there are a lot more high-stakes matches between February and May than in the early weeks of the season, meaning absences are often felt harder as teams fight for survival, chase Champions League qualification and challenge for silverware. But by putting so much focus on what it means for players' club sides, the value of the Africa Cup of Nations is unfairly diminished in a way we don't see with other international competitions. A highly competitive tournament which has produced almost twice as many different winners in 64 years as the World Cup has in 91 years, the AFCON showcases the best of a huge footballing continent that for many years was criminally undervalued in the sporting world. While it may not attract the money or global audience of the Premier League, Champions League or World Cup, it is just as big an honour for many of those who participate. So that was our take on the AFCON and how it will affect a number of clubs across Europe. But how do you feel about the competition and who do you think will win it? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, why not check out our last explainer on hooliganism in France? Trust me, you won't regret it. And why not hit the like button as well? Thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.